Hey, a beautiful job to work together. I hope you can feel what it feels like now. This is why we work so freaking hard. It comes, we don't know what's going to happen, but if we keep staying with it and keep believing in it, it's going to happen, and it happened again. This ain't the only time we're going to get one of these.
Yeah, that's one win. We here for more than one win. But I got to get a game ball. First win in the silver and black.
Is it? Game time. What time is it?
Game time.
Whose house is it?
Our house.
Whose house is it?
Our house.
Get off the house!
What's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talk about a team that the world loves to hate. Your Las Vegas Raiders. That was the victory speech after the game. I think we're going to get a ton of these victory speeches, man. I'm telling you right now, this team is a little bit different. The coaching is there. The preparation is there. A lot of the things that we saw in the preseason were like, oh, I'm a little bit nervous about this. I'm a little bit nervous about that. It came to fruition. Some of the things were actually, you know what? A lot better than we thought they were going to be. We're going to get to all that. But before we do, I want to make sure everyone please like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do. Also, we got the Shield Society. Shield Society members, step up, man. Go ahead and comment in the comments below. What was the watch party like, man? Did you like it? Was it cool? Some of the people from the Shield Society actually jumped on the show and was able to talk and say what's up to everybody else. It's a nice, tight-knit community. It's not for everybody, man. It's just for the bros. If you want to be a part of the Shield Society, it's only $5 a month. What I am going to talk about is this Raider victory. Okay, we learned a lot coming in here. What's this team going to look like when it's just the ones playing ones, right? We saw a little bit here and there in the preseason, maybe not the full ones on defense and stuff like that. They look good. They didn't look good. The line looked okay. The linebackers were iffy. The secondary was iffy. What's going on? What's going to happen? We got a lot of answers today. This was not an easy win against the New England Patriots. Traveling across the country is one thing. Okay, fine. But the weather was bad. It rained the entire game, okay? And I don't know that we really prepared ourselves for that. But we went out there. We made it happen. Nice first drive by the offense. Sputtered a little bit after that in the first half, but we made it happen in the second half. Second half adjustments were huge. It's not so much a different game plan. All we're doing is being better prepared and anticipating what the opposing team is going to do. There was a few things that we talked about, okay? Offensively, we needed to run the football to take shots down the field. Now, we ran the football quite a bit. I think we ran the ball, 24 times? We didn't get that many. We got like 58 yards on 24 carries, so not great. But we continued to run the ball to keep the defense honest. It wasn't like we were throwing every single down. Now, we had 34 pass attempts and 24 rushes. It's not 50-50, but it's pretty dang close. So when it comes down to that is the play action game was huge. The double moves on the outside were huge. There was a lot of things that we looked at here that we didn't really see in the preseason. I talked about it. I said this offense is going to look way different come the regular season. We showed a lot more motion. They only motioned, I think, one time in the preseason. They motioned almost every single time to get favorable matchups, to give Geno Smith a better look at the defense and what they're doing. I think down the field, the ball was being pushed a lot further. I mean, Geno Smith had like a 10.6 average per attempt. That's really good. That's like super elite level. He threw the ball 34 times for 362 yards. That shows you, even in the rain, even in a consistent rain throughout the game, Geno Smith was looking to push the ball down the field, and his arm strength and his accuracy, no problem in the weather. People want to talk about Geno Smith not playing well outdoors. Well, I'll tell you something right now. He played pretty damn good to me. We're going to get to all the stats and everything like that in a little bit. We're also going to get to the press conference for Pete Carroll and for Geno Smith in the postgame. But first, I want to talk about the defense a little bit too. If you guys watched my defensive video, my two big things, knowing Josh McDaniels and what he wants to do is we needed to, number one, stop the run on early downs, okay? Number two, we need to get pressure with 4. If we can get pressure with 4, not only could we run the coverages that we want to run on the back end, but Drake May does not do well under pressure. And it was a tale of two halves. The first half, we really couldn't get to him, and he was pretty much carving us up. He had a rough first drive, but then after that, he was doing pretty good in his drives after that. He was moving the ball down the field, taking big chunks of time. In the second half, that all changed. We were able to do a couple of exotic blitzes, And we were almost able to get home with 4. Maxx Crosby got a sack. Kuntz got a sack. Laulu got a sack. Who else? Tyree Wilson got a sack. A lot of guys got in there and got sacks. Also a strip sack by Kuntz. A lot of stuff happening on the front, and that's what we needed. We needed these front 4 to be able to get pressure, specifically because, like, if you guys watch my videos, it's going to be a little bit of a repeat. But if you didn't, there's something very specific about Drake May under pressure. Drake May under pressure, okay? He ran the ball on 20% of his pressures. That means 1 out of every 5 times he was pressured, he took off running. That shows you a couple things. Either he's got jittery feet or he couldn't find guys down the field. Those are 2 things there, right? Also, his turnover-worthy plays. He had a couple of turnover-worthy plays where he fumbled once, he had almost had a bad pick, and he threw another pick. So he had 3 really bad turnover-worthy plays. His MO is like 5%. So 1 out of every 20 snaps, he gives you a turnover-worthy play. Let's see here. He had 46 pass attempts. Goddamn. 46 pass attempts. And that's 5, 12, 16, 17, 18 rush attempts. So what's that, math major? 64? That's about right. Yeah, what I say? He had 3 turnover-worthy plays and about 64 plays. So that's pretty much who he is. He's going to give you a lot of opportunity to take the ball away. And we did it with 4 up front in the second half. A tale of 2 halves defensively. As much as we wanted to talk about the secondary, I don't know how they're going to do, and you know what, they don't look good. And I was one of the guys that said it too. But man, 6-yard average isn't great. 287 yards on 46 attempts. That's pretty damn good. We got that pick. We sacked them 4 times. Only allowed an 80.6 passer rating. That's pretty damn good, man. That's pretty damn good. And a couple of the plays were only completed because the defender fell down. We were called for a couple of pretty bad pass interferences, and Pete Carroll's going to talk about it a little bit, but the egregious one was the one on Caillou Blue Kelly. He had his head around it was a bad call, whatever. That was a really crucial part of the game because New England was driving. It was on I believe it was a 4th down, and that gave them the opportunity to do a 2-for-1 because they had the ball at the end of the half, and they got the ball again to kick off in the second half. So, man, that could have been disastrous for the Raiders if they would have gotten a touchdown on either one of those drives. But defense held up, only gave up 3 at the end of the half, but also stopped them in the first with the interception in the first drive of the second half. So let's go ahead and listen to what Pete Carroll has to say in the post-game press conference.
Touchdown pass. So a lot of good things happened across the board, and we're really happy about it.
You guys lost Landon, but it seemed like the linebackers, the communication stayed true, and you know they stayed with it even with the loss.
Yeah, he sprained his elbow, and we'll see what that all means. He's tough as nails, and if he can come back, he will. Yeah, but those guys have been rolling a lot. John Glenn has been moving those guys through so that we have fresh callers and guys that can communicate really well. So that wasn't that far off for us to deal with that properly. Tommy got a little playing time in there, which was great. But I thought the whole group played really well.
What's your level of concern with Brock Bowers' knee injury?
They're looking at his knee, and he wanted to go back in, and they wouldn't let him go back in. They thought, let's watch the game, see how it goes. We didn't have to do that. So, but he's an incredible player. So yeah, we need to have him.
How did you guys?
Can't even get a question in. Oh, jeez, man.
How did you guys game plan for Drake May, and how do you think you guys stuck to that game plan?
Well, this first game, you really don't know what you're getting. And we saw them in preseason, and they saw us in preseason. We didn't motion 1 snap in preseason this year, so we were moving a lot today, if you noticed. And so they likewise, they did things that they hadn't done. We, in this first game and even the second game and the third game, these are all games they're a little bit loose on, what you're planning for, because teams can change and they haven't really showed their hands. Some of the clubs that have been together for a long time is a little bit different. But the new teams, brand new team, we didn't know what they were going to do. And Josh had a lot of good calls in there and a lot of good stuff that he did against us.
The run game wasn't quite there, but you guys did have success with the play action passing game. Why do you think you guys were able to do that even without the run game and being there?
No, well, they still got on the run. They were getting fired up and hyped up about stopping it, and so I thought Chip called a great game to take advantage of that. And their aggressive style at the line of scrimmage allowed us to get a few plays at them, and that's just kind of how we play. And so hopefully we keep that going. But we'll need the running game a lot more formidable than that.
You preached compete since you got here, and today, towards the end of that second and the end of the first half, when the team got behind, you could tell they were frustrated, but they never quit competing.
Yeah, no.
Is that why you do it from day one and you install it? You just can't do it and turn it on game day?
Yeah, That is the essence of why this is the central theme in the program, is so that you never call it at any one point. You just keep competing and you just keep battling, play after play after play. We don't pass judgment. We just keep rolling. And these guys were talking like that at halftime. They were talking like it on the sidelines, and they kept talking about just keep doing the right thing, keep doing the right, and we'll work our way out of it. That is the conversation that we're trying to develop on a regular basis. So there ain't nothing that we can't handle. And so it was a good illustration of that. Thanks for pointing that out.
One of those 20-yard plays was on a 3rd and 20 late in that fourth quarter. The third was Johnson scoring.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how big that play was?
That was a huge play. Yeah, that really swung the game where we really were in command of the game from that point on. So that was a huge job by the guys up front, because Geno had some extra time there, and he got a chance to throw it down there in a really nice, unusual play that Dante makes the catch on. So it was a very significant play in that game, and fortunately it worked out. We still could have won the game without that one, but that play really kind of put us on top of the game for us.
Not bad for a number 2 tight end, I guess.
And number 2 tight end. We got ones. Those guys can all play and do stuff. Mike made some big catches today and hung on to the ball great. Unfortunately, we had one freaking ball tipped today and they get a pick on it. But we played with the ball in our hands really securely all day long, which is what we've been doing everything in our power to own once we get to these games. I was really proud of that today.
Part of your young corners, I mean, they just stepped up today.
I thought they did fine. You know, we had two PIs called on us. I think you could go to both of them, and you could see the offensive guy ran into Eric, I think it was, and knocked him back. You know, and the guy, the side judge, he couldn't see it really. But I thought that was one that didn't have to get called. And I thought Kai Blue did a nice job on fighting to the hands without making something that impeded that receiver. So I challenged both of them. You know, and I thought those guys played really well.
That's good.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Great stuff by Pete Carroll, per usual. Look, a couple of things that we went into in this preseason, going into the regular season, it was like, okay, what's the offensive line going to look like? And running, yeah, the run blocking wasn't great. Jeanty, he ran hard. When they were able to open up lanes for him, he was able to, make some pretty good gains early in the game. And, the New England, they went in and they started putting a lot more people on the line and kind of pressuring and doing a little bit more of a stunts and stuff. And then that really, the stunts it's really killing this offensive line. It's the communication of the stunts. Jackson Powers-Johnson, he had a couple of pretty bad plays, and he also had a bad penalty. And these are things he needs to clean up, man. And I said it during the watch party. If you're going to play like that, if you're going to miss assignments, if you're going to, not take the proper guy on a twist stunt, or you're going to take that bad penalty, like you're not going to be looked at as a leader on this team, someone who can be a cerebral leader like a center has to be. And I think Meredith played a pretty good game at center. When we take a look at here is we need to get I said in the beginning, this was going to be a tough game up front to rush the ball, simply because you have the horses up front. Barmore is there. You also had Milton Williams is a really good player up front. These are a lot of good players in the middle. They're going to be hard to move, and they proved that during the game. So Pete Carroll said it. We need to get better. It was good enough to win today. We got a rushing touchdown. We're able to control the clock a little bit. We're able to keep the opposing defense a little bit on their heels while running. Even though we weren't getting a lot of yards, we were still running, because they saw early in the game, if they don't play the run properly, Jeanty can go ahead and rip off some good runs. So they were still paying attention to it, which allowed our play action to work still, even though we weren't getting a lot of yards per rush. That's why it's important to continue to rush the ball. The penalties, like I said it before, and I was one of the guys that said, like, I'm still very nervous and I'm concerned about this secondary. But towards the very end of the week, and if you saw my video that I released yesterday, I said, I find it extremely hard to believe that Pete Carroll is going to have a bad secondary. That's what he does. That's what he coaches. He was a secondary coach. He's a defensive guy. And they did pretty well. I mean, Drake Mays, he's a talented kid, but he didn't do great. Only had an 80 rating. He had to throw the ball 46 times to get 287 yards. We got a pick. We almost had a second pick. Sacked him. A lot of good things that happened. And it was the secondary giving the guys a lot of time up front to be able to get home. So good compliment defense there. I thought the linebackers played great. Landon Roberts messed his elbow up a little bit. We'll see what happens with that. I haven't got any definitive word yet as of this recording what his problem is with his elbow. I think the Brock thing he's gonna be just fine. He was moving around just fine, but they were, with the footing the way it was and the rain and all that stuff, it was a good decision. Plus, Mayer was out there catching balls and looking really good. So I think it was a good decision to keep Bowers on the sidelines towards the end of the game. I think we had plenty to be able to get it done offensively. Speaking of getting it done offensively, Geno Smith, it's not common at all to have a plus 10 yard per attempt. 34 attempts, 362 yards. He was pushing the ball down the field. I said this, I don't know if you guys remember, with the offense the way it is now and how they're going to move Brock Bowers around, they're going to use Brock Bowers more up the seams, which they did, and down the sidelines, which they did. He's going to be more of a vertical threat, and they're going to use Michael Mayer as more of a possession guy, which they did. Brock Bowers, he had 8 catches for 103 yards, man. 38 long. He had over 20 yards per catch. Excellent job by Brock Bowers. He's a guy that we definitely are going to be able to rely on this entire season, health permitting. And Geno Smith, man, he had the most yards of a debuting Raider quarterback ever. So this is in a torrential rain, too. This was outdoors. Geno Smith was not supposed to be good outdoors. Well, guess what? He played just fine. And this is a decent Patriots defense. They spent a lot of money on this defense to be able to get guys to bolster their defense. And Geno Smith didn't seem to have a problem. He had a tip ball for an interception. That was a great play by Carlton Davis. What are you going to do? The ball was accurate. It was right there, which is a little tip at the end, and it was a tip interception. But, whatever. Most of the time, those tip balls go out of bounds. But look, Geno Smith played a great game. He was the leader of this offense, and he really put the offense on his shoulders, and the arm really helped him win. What I say, the offense is going to go as far as the legs of Ashton Jeanty. He ran for a touchdown and controlled the ball, the clock late in the game with his rushing. Also on the arm of Geno Smith, 362 yards with a touchdown, and commanded the game. A lot of big third down conversion. So let's hear what Geno Smith has to say about the game.
We're doing good afternoon.
Congratulations on your first win as a Raider, Geno. But you know Pete's system. You know his compete. But in the end of the first half, when they were ahead and things were not going well, your teammates, there was nobody hanging their heads. You could see it. They're just hanging in there. How proud are you of your teammates that they bought in to Pete's compete?
Yeah, I'm extremely proud of the guys. First of all, it's always a blessing to get a win in the NFL. And yeah, I mean, the Patriots, they have a good team. This is the NFL. There's going to be ups and downs, ebbs and flows throughout the game. But I think the message that Coach sends us is that, you got to stay even keel. And you got to, never pass judgment, right? You got a 4-quarter game you got to go play. And so I thought we did a really good job at, coming back in the second half, into the locker room, regrouping, and then executing in the second half.
You've been involved with him in these East Coast games, and his record's ridiculous and good. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think Coach has really a great way of going about it. The 2-day trips, just all the things that we do. It really works, and you can see it. And obviously, the guys have got to go out there and execute, and it's got to be right. But Coach has a style about him. He has a way about him. He understands exactly what he wants, and the message is clear. And so when we get out here, we know what we're doing. Business trip, we take 2-day trips, study, and then get out on the field and get it done.
It's 3rd and 20, late in the fourth quarter, and you find Dante on that long first down throw. What's going through your mind on that play? Was that the play that was called, or was it something that you guys saw?
Yeah, we obviously in those situations, man, game on the line. I love the ball in my hands. That's what I live for, man. That's what I play this game for. And we were running a lot of plays, a lot of in cuts, and I felt like we could have taken advantage of some things earlier, but I feel like that was the perfect timing for it. And so Dante made a great play, ran a great route. The protection held up. They went cover 0. So we got a chance to take a shot on an aggressive corner, and it worked out for us. And those are the things we can count on from Dante and from our O-line.
Personally, just speaking about yourself as an individual, when you have something that doesn't go well, like the interception earlier in the game, what goes into maintaining that confidence and sort of moving on to the next play?
I think I say it all the time, on me. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I think about. I don't think about nothing else. I'm me. I know who I am. I know what I can do. Mistakes happen. Things happen within the game. It was a tip pass. I made the right read. Could have made a better throw. But those guys made a play on it, and the ball tipped up. Guy made a play. not going to hang my head. I'm keep going. I'm me. And Coach tells a story about Rick Barry. And one day I'll get to that with you guys. But I just know who I am. I know what I can do on that field, so I never worry.
It was really aggressive and sending pressure, blitzing often, but you had a few moments out there where they were getting after you, still were able to make the play. I think about the 4-for-1 pass where you were on the move and hit Michael Mayer. What goes into sort of being aware of surrounding those moments and kind of pivoting?
Yeah, just anticipating the aggressiveness, knowing the situations, and most coordinators are going to be aggressive in those situations. They got to get the ball back, got to find a way to get a stop. So typically they're going to be aggressive. They have to. So when you're out there, you're playing, you got to make a play. Those are when I think the best players show up. Is when you got to make a play. Everyone knows the situation. There's no secrets, and you just got to go out there and make it happen.
You've been around Brock Bowers now, I think since March or so, whenever you got here. It looks like you guys were playing for 5 years out there today, but what kind of an asset is Brock Bowers?
Man, Brock's a tremendous asset. He gives us the advantage, in personnel because he's such a tremendous player all around. And so, D coordinators, they've got to figure out how they want to guard him, and we've got to adjust to it. And, Brock's a great player, but I think all our guys showed up. I thought Jacoby had a great game today. I thought Trey had a great game. You see the big plays that Dante made. Tough running by Ashton. It's hard to, do that in a 4-minute situation when the whole stadium knows we're running the ball. But our O-line played well. I thought they gave me a ton of time back there to get through my reads. And so, Chip called a great game. I think it's a collection of all of us having to do those things. But, having Brock obviously makes my job a lot easier.
Early in the game, you had already targeted 6 of your teammates, and obviously it was even more than that by the end of the game. In Chip's system, how much does it help that if you're on the roster, you're part of the offensive game plan, so they have to watch everybody?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's how we want to play football. We want to make sure that we make the right reads. I want to make sure that I'm making the right decisions and getting the ball into the hands of the playmakers. We got a lot of great players, and that's something that, we can take advantage of. And so, I'm going to spread the ball around if need be, but, I'm going to find the open guy first and foremost.
You guys all good? Cool.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Geno Smith said it, man. That's who he is. He wants the ball in his hands when the time comes. When the game is on the line, he wants the ball in his hands. He wants to control what happens. And, man, you know what? I may not have given him enough credit. I said, we got to run the ball. We got to run the ball. And the game plan was simple from the very beginning. Geno Smith pushing the ball down the field, regardless of what the weather was like. Yeah, we got young receivers. Yeah, we got these players, a second-year tight end. We got a couple rookie receivers. We got a third-year receiver. We got a lot of young guys in the offensive line. Doesn't matter. We're pushing the ball down the field. And that's Geno Smith, man. That's Geno Smith, and that's what he's going to do. And that's what you can expect from him to do. Now, remember, Geno Smith plays much better indoors than he plays outdoors. This outdoors, they didn't seem to be a problem for Geno Smith. The offense was, I think, okay. There was a couple of things that really hurt them. I think they were driving the ball when they had the interception. A couple of penalties that need to clean up. The penalties were brutal. It makes it harder when you have such a small margin for error. And when you're on the road with the weather the way it is, the first game of the season, when it's mostly coaching, right? There aren't a lot of tendencies out there for these teams because there's a lot of people are new, right? So what you have to do the first few weeks of the season, like the first quarter of the season, the first 3-4 games, it's basically anticipation, preparation, and execution. If you can do those things, you can do well the first 4 games of the season. And Pete Carroll being a guy out there who's been doing it for a long time, also Patrick Graham, Chip Kelly, those guys, you saw that the team was able to just get the job done. Didn't look pretty all the time, right? It was ugly a little bit of times. There was some penalties, nine penalties. That's rough. We need to really clean that up because ultimately we can't be shooting ourselves in the foot like that and expect to win every single week. We got lucky that we won this week with 9 penalties, a couple of pretty bad ones, a couple of iffy ones that maybe shouldn't have been called, but whatever they were called, we got to work with it. Ultimately, we need to make sure that we play cleaner to make these games a little bit easier on us down the stretch. This is the NFL. A lot of games come down to one score. This was a one-score game too, but now we're 1-0 in one-score games. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. Shield Society members, if you're here and you want to go ahead and talk about it, go ahead and hit up the comments. What was the watch party like? I thought it was a fun time. If you guys want to do it, that's great. If not, that's great too. You're going to get one of these videos every single day. On top of that, I need you guys to make sure to please tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going on Raider Nation today. All right, guys, it's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.